Dr. Lin, you're awake. A blinding white light made me squint uncomfortably. A nurse's excited voice buzzed in my ear, and I looked around blankly, my head throbbing as if it had been struck by a heavy hammer. Where? Where am I? You're in the hospital. You were in a car accident 3 days ago and have been unconscious ever since, the nurse said, checking the monitors. I'll go get Ms. Gu, the lawyer, right away. Ms. Gu? A lawyer? I frowned, trying to remember, but my mind was a complete blank. 10 minutes later, a woman in a tailored designer's suit pushed the door open. She wore exquisite makeup, her features striking and cool, though there were faint, tired shadows beneath her eyes. You're finally awake. She stood by my bedside, her tone as flat as if she were commenting on the weather. I sized her up, this woman who felt both strange and familiar. And you are? She paused, then frowned. Lin Hao, don't play these games with me. What games? I was even more confused. I really don't know you. The woman's expression changed. She strode to my bedside and peered into my eyes. You really don't remember me? I'm sorry, should I know you? I'm Gu Qinghan, your wife. She paused, then added, we've been married for 3 years. Married? For 3 years? I stared in shock at this cold woman before me. If she really was my wife, why did she look at me like I was a stranger? The attending physician arrived quickly. After a series of tests, he diagnosed me with traumatic amnesia. I had lost nearly 3 years of memories. So, you're saying his memory stops 3 years ago? Gu Qinghan asked. Yes. According to the test results, Dr. Lin's memory stops when he was 25, the doctor said, flipping through the medical chart. But this kind of amnesia can be temporary. The recovery time varies from person to person. Gu Qinghan glanced at me, then said to the doctor, I understand. Thank you. Once the doctor left, we were alone in the room. The atmosphere grew tense. Since you're my wife, I asked tentatively, can you tell me what happened over the past 3 years? Gu Qinghan sat on the chair by the bed, her long legs crossed. 3 years ago, we met during a medical malpractice case. You were an expert witness for the defense, and I was the plaintiff's lawyer. After the case, we started dating, and half a year later, we got married. That's it. Her account felt overly brief. Yes. She glanced at her watch. I have an important meeting this afternoon. You should rest. Wait. I called out as she was about to leave. I remember I was supposed to be doing a fellowship at Johns Hopkins. How'd I end up here? Gu Qinghan stopped in her tracks. You gave it up. Gave it up. I couldn't believe it. That was the opportunity I'd always dreamed of. For me. She turned back, her eyes unreadable. You said you didn't want a long-distance relationship, so you chose to stay in the country. I was stunned. The Johns Hopkins fellowship. I'd worked for years to get that. Would I really give that up for a woman? Where do I work now? City Hospital. Her voice was soft. Just an ordinary attending physician. An ordinary attending physician? 3 years ago, I was already the youngest associate chief physician at Provincial Hospital, with a brilliant future ahead of me. I have to get back to work. Gu Qinghan picked up her bag. Your colleagues will visit you tomorrow. You can ask them for more details. Watching her retreating figure, I was lost in thought. Was this cold woman really my wife? Would I truly have given up everything for her? After being discharged from the hospital, I returned to what was supposedly our home, a luxury apartment in the city center. Pushing the door open, my eyes were met with a minimalist black, white, and gray decor. It lacked any trace of a lived-in feel. On the living room's photo wall, there were only a few pictures of us together, mostly from formal occasions. Even our wedding photo looked stiff and formulaic. You're back. Gu Qinghan emerged from the study, still holding a file. This is our home. I looked around, feeling like I'd stepped into a showroom apartment. What's wrong? She didn't look up, still flipping through the file. It lacks warmth, I said bluntly. She finally looked up at me. Warmth? Lin Hao, you never cared about such things before your amnesia. Oh, really? I walked over to her. Then what did I care about before? Work, her answer stunned me. To be precise, my work. You'd help me organize case files, stay late with me at the office, and drive me to and from work. I frowned. That sounded more like I was your assistant. Gu Qinghan smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. You chose it yourself. Dinner was takeout. We sat facing each other, the atmosphere so awkward it was suffocating. I'm going back to work at the hospital tomorrow. I broke the silence. Work at City Hospital isn't demanding. 9 to 5, she said lightly. Perfect for taking care of things at home. Taking care of things at home? I looked at this cold, sterile apartment, wondering what there was to take care of. My phone rang. It was an unfamiliar number. Lin Hao, this is Zhou Wei. I heard you were in a car accident. A concerned female voice came from the other end. Zhou Wei. The name sounded vaguely familiar. Senior brother. You don't even remember me? Her voice was laced with surprise and worry. It's me, your junior sister. We worked together at Provincial Hospital for 3 years. So, a former colleague. I was about to chat a bit more when Gu Qinghan suddenly stood up. I'm going to the study to work. After she left, Zhou Wei continued. Senior brother, have you really lost your memory? Do you remember that highly complex heart surgery we performed together? What surgery? The 10-hour Marfan syndrome surgery. The whole hospital was talking about it. You were the lead surgeon, and I was your assistant. I racked my brain, and some vague images surfaced. Yes, I remember that surgery. It was the pinnacle of my career. And then, Zhou Wei paused for a moment. Later, you got married, resigned, and went to City Hospital. Why? Well, senior brother, some things aren't convenient to discuss over the phone. How about I visit you at the hospital tomorrow? After hanging up, I was lost in thought. Clearly, a lot had happened in these 3 years, and my wife seemed unwilling to tell me the truth. Late at night, I scrolled through the photos on my phone. Strangely, there were pitifully few photos from the past 3 years. Most were work photos of Gu Qinghan. The occasional ones of me were all taken at home. I pushed open the study door. Gu Qinghan was still working. Not sleeping yet. She glanced up at me. Almost done. I have a question. I walked to her desk. Are we in love? Her hand paused for a moment, then she resumed typing. Of course. Then why can't I feel it? Gu Qinghan finally stopped working and looked directly at me. Lin Hao, love has many ways of expressing itself. Not everyone needs sweet nothings. But, enough, she cut me off. You have amnesia. It's normal not to remember many things. But please don't question our marriage. Her reaction only deepened my confusion. If we were truly in love, why would we interact in such a cold manner? The next day, I returned to the city hospital. My colleagues were acting strangely. They were friendly to my face, but I could hear them whispering behind my back. I vaguely overheard things like, such a shame, and he used to be so brilliant. During rounds, a young doctor whispered to a nurse, Dr. Lin used to be a rising star at the provincial hospital, but now. Sigh. It's because of his wife, the nurse muttered, lowering her voice. I heard she's a real powerhouse, a partner at a top law firm. So what? She clearly doesn't give him a second thought. At the last apartment dinner, his wife kept calling, and he just up and left without a word. I pretended I hadn't heard, but my mind was in turmoil. At noon, Zhou Wei arrived as planned. Senior brother. Her eyes were a little red. You really don't remember anything? We found a quiet place to sit. Zhou Wei told me that 3 years ago, I was the youngest deputy director of cardiac surgery at the provincial hospital. I had just secured a fellowship at Johns Hopkins, and my future was incredibly bright. Back then, you were so full of drive and ambition, an idol to all of us. Her eyes shone. But after you met Gu Qinghan, everything changed. How did it change? She's a workaholic. To accommodate her schedule, you gave up the fellowship, resigned from your position as deputy director, and came here to be a regular doctor. Zhou Wei bit her lip. Senior brother, do you know how many people felt sorry for you back then? I fell silent. And she hesitated, stopping mid-sentence. What else? There's someone around her, a man named Shunimo. He was her senior in college, and they're very close. Rumors have been circulating in our circles. Rumors about what? Nothing. Zhou Wei shook her head. Senior brother, what's past is past. The important thing is that now you have a chance to choose again. After work, I didn't go straight home. Instead, I went to the provincial hospital. Standing at the entrance of the cardiac surgery department, watching the bustling medical staff, a wave of familiarity washed over me. This was my true battlefield. Lin Hao, a middle-aged doctor, approached me. Is it really you? I heard you lost your memory. Director Wang. I recognized him. He was my former superior. Come, let's talk in my office. Director Wang told me that when I suddenly resigned back then, he tried his best to convince me to stay, but it was no use. You said you were sacrificing for love. I tried to tell you then that you could balance career and love, but you wouldn't listen. He sighed. Such a waste of a promising future. By the time I left the provincial hospital, it was already dark. When I got home, Gu Qinghan was surprisingly waiting for me in the living room. Where were you? She asked. The provincial hospital. I didn't hide it. She frowned. What were you doing there? Reclaiming what's mine. I looked her straight in the eye. Gu Qinghan, I'm going back to work at the provincial hospital. No, she refused without a second thought. Why not? Your current job is good. It's stable, no overtime, and you can take care of the family. Take care of what family? I glanced around the cold, impersonal house. To take care of your work? Gu Qinghan stood up. Lin Hao, you've changed. No, I've changed back to who I was. I walked up to her. I don't want to be your accessory anymore. Accessory? She scoffed. That was your choice too. That was the old me, I said firmly. The me now, I'm choosing again. That night, we had our first major fight. She said I was selfish and didn't care about the family. I said she was selfish and only cared about herself. Finally, she slammed the door and went into the study, leaving me alone on the living room sofa. Marriage. It shouldn't be like this. In the days that followed, Gu Qinghan and I descended into a cold war. She continued her routine of leaving early and returning late, while I began preparing for the assessment to return to the provincial hospital. After a 3-year hiatus, I had a lot of catching up to do. One afternoon, an emergency case was rushed into the hospital, a patient with an aortic dissection, in critical condition. Dr. Lin, please come take a look, a nurse called out anxiously. I assessed the patient's condition and immediately grasped the severity of the situation. Prepare for surgery now. But the municipal hospital doesn't have a chief cardiac surgeon, and the other doctors say the risk is too high. Then I'll do it, I declared decisively. The surgery lasted 4 hours. When I emerged from the operating room, the way my colleagues looked at me had changed. Dr. Lin, you're incredible. Most hospitals wouldn't dare take on a surgery of this difficulty. Yeah, I heard even the specialists at the provincial hospital might not be confident with this one. I took off my surgical gown, a long-lost sense of accomplishment washing over me. This is what I was meant to do. Returning home that evening, I was surprised to find Gu Qinghan already there, the table laden with food. You cook? I asked, surprised. It's takeout, she said, gesturing to the containers. Sit down. Let's eat and talk. At the table, she broke the silence. I heard you performed a major surgery today. Your colleagues are all praising you. She paused. Actually, I've always known you were exceptional. I put down my chopsticks. Then why did you want me to give it all up? Gu Qinghan was silent for a long time. Because I needed you. Needed me for what? I needed you by my side, supporting my career. She looked directly into my eyes. Lin Hao, I'm a very selfish person. It was the first time she had been so candid. When you wanted to go to the U.S. for advanced studies, I panicked. A year apart, anything could happen. So I convinced you to stay. Convinced? I gave a bitter smile. What did you use to convince me? She averted her gaze. Love. So that was it. I leaned back in my chair, a sudden sense of irony washing over me. Gu Qinghan, do you know what true love is? She looked at me, a bewildered look in her eyes. It's about support, not possession. I stood up. If you truly loved me, you would have supported my dreams, not stifled them. Just then, her phone rang. Hello, Shinemo. She answered the call, her voice instantly softening. Okay, I understand. See you tomorrow. I watched her hang up, my gaze cold. Who's Shinemo? My senior from university, and a work partner, she said, nonchalantly. Is that all? What are you implying? She frowned. Nothing. I turned and walked towards the bedroom. I'm tired. Her voice followed me from behind. Lin Hao, what are you suspicious of? I stopped and turned back to look at her. I'm questioning whether this marriage even needs to exist anymore. In that moment, I clearly saw a flicker of panic in her eyes. But she quickly regained her composure, her expression turning cold again. Think whatever you want. Weekend, Gu Qinghan had to attend an important charity gala, and she insisted I accompany her. Why do I have to go? All the clients are bringing their spouses. I can't be an exception, she said, applying her makeup. I watched her reflection in the mirror. Her exquisite makeup couldn't conceal the dark circles of exhaustion beneath her eyes. You've been pushing yourself too hard lately, haven't you? Her hand stilled. Concern about me? You're my wife, after all. She smiled, but it was tinged with bitterness. Thanks. The gala was held at a 5-star hotel. Gu Qinghan changed into a black evening gown, breathtakingly elegant. Stunning, I said, my admiration genuine. She faltered for a moment, then averted her eyes. We should get going. At the gala, I saw a different side of Gu Qinghan. She mingled effortlessly, laughing and chatting, completely in her element, the undisputed center of attention. And I could only stand by her side, like a decorative prop. Qinghan, a tall, handsome man approached. You're positively radiant tonight, outshining everyone. Shun Mo. Gu Qinghan offered her first genuine smile of the evening. So this was Shun Mo. I sized him up. He was undeniably impressive. And this is... Shun Mo glanced at me. My husband, Lin Hao, Gu Qinghan introduced. A pleasure, Shun Mo said, extending his hand, though his eyes held an unmistakable glint of condescension. I shook his hand. Hello. For the rest of the evening, Shun Mo barely left Gu Qinghan's side. They discussed law, investments, mutual friends, and I was completely shut out of their conversation. Qinghan, about that multinational M&A case next week. We need to prepare thoroughly, Shinamo said. We might have to pull some all-nighters. No problem. Gu Qinghan agreed without a flicker of hesitation. I couldn't help but interject. I might have an interview at the provincial hospital next week. Gu Qinghan frowned. Since when? I just decided. Shinamo chimed in. Dr. Lin, planning to step back into the ring, are we? But I heard your job at the municipal hospital is quite the sinecure. Too long in a sinecure, and you get rusty. I retorted, meeting his gaze directly. A man needs ambition. Well said. Shin Mo smirked. But some opportunities, once missed, don't come around again. The provincial hospital. A 3-year gap on your CV? That'll be a tough sell, won't it? His words were barbed. I was about to fire back when Gu Qinghan grabbed my arm. Let's go sit over there. When we reached a quiet corner, she said in a low voice, just ignore him. You two seem close. University classmates. We do business together now. Is that all? She met my eyes. What are you implying? Nothing. I looked away. Just think you two make a great couple. Lin Hao. Her voice rose sharply. What, am I wrong? I scoffed. Highly educated, same profession, plenty in common. You're a perfect match. Are you jealous? She suddenly asked. Jealous? I shook my head. I'm just seeing things as they are. Just then, the large screen in the hall lit up, displaying the items for the charity auction. And now, for the highlight of our evening, the MC announced. A pair of rare blue diamond earrings, generously donated by the Shun Corporation. Bidding starts at 1 million. The auction began. Shun Mo was the first to raise his paddle. 2 million. 3 million. The price skyrocketed. In the end, Shun Mo won the earrings with a bid of 8 million. Congratulations, Mr. Shun, the MC exclaimed. And who is the fortunate lady these exquisite earrings are intended for? Shun Mo stood, his gaze fixed on Gu Qinghan. For the business partner I admire most, Ms. Gu Qinghan. A wave of murmurs swept through the hall. Every eye was riveted on us. Gu Qinghan clearly hadn't anticipated this. She stood frozen, utterly bewildered. And in that moment, I truly understood what it meant to be publicly humiliated. Shinamo, what do you mean by this? Gu Qinghan stood up, her voice icy. Don't misunderstand. It's just a gift between friends, Shinamo said with a slight smile. Mr. Lin won't mind, will he? All eyes turned to me, waiting for my reaction. I stood up and said calmly, of course I mind. The atmosphere instantly grew awkward. Qinghan is my wife. Such an expensive gift is inappropriate, I said, looking at Shun Mo. Please take it back. Mr. Lin, you're being a bit too petty, don't you think? Shun Mo said provocatively. But then again, it's understandable, considering the vast difference in your incomes. Shun Mo. Gu Qinghan cut in sharply. I clenched my fists, struggling to control my emotions. Income isn't the measure of a person's worth. At least I know what's appropriate. Appropriate? Shun Mo sneered. Then tell me, Mr. Lin, what's so appropriate about letting your wife fight her battles alone in her career while you comfortably coast in a small hospital? That's enough. Gu Qinghan suddenly erupted. Shun Mo, this is our family business. It's not your place to interfere. She grabbed my hand. Let's go. We left the venue and got into the car. Gu Qinghan was silent the entire way. I'm sorry, she said suddenly. What for? Shun Mo went too far, she said, looking out the window. I didn't expect him to act like that. What exactly is going on between you two? I asked directly. We're just former classmates and current business partners. He's in love with you. It wasn't a question. Gu Qinghan fell silent. And you? I pressed. How do you feel about him? Lin Hao, we're married. That's not an answer. She turned to look at me, her expression complicated. I don't know. You don't know. I scoffed. Gu Qinghan, you're a lawyer. You, of all people, should understand the meaning of honesty. I'm being honest, she retorted, her voice rising. I admit, Shun Mo is exceptional, and we have a lot in common, but that doesn't mean anything. But you've never refused his advances. That was for work. Does work require you to accept a gift worth 8 million? Gu Qinghan was left speechless. Back home, I went straight to the study and started working on my resume. Since I decided to go back to the provincial hospital, I had to give my all. At 2 in the morning, Gu Qinghan knocked and entered. Still up? Preparing for the interview, I said without looking up. She walked over to my desk and placed a glass of warm milk beside me. Drink this. I glanced at her, surprised. As far as I could recall, this was the first time she'd ever shown me such unsolicited concern. Lin Hao, she said, sitting down opposite me. If you really want to go back to the provincial hospital, I won't object. Really? MHM. She looked down. I've been too selfish. Why the sudden change of heart? She gave a wry smile. What Shin Mo said tonight was awful, but he was right about one thing. I really have been neglecting your feelings. It was the first time in 3 years she had admitted she was wrong. Qinghan, I said, putting down my pen. Can we really talk? About what? About our marriage. I looked at her seriously. Do you think there's any love left between us? She froze, then after a long pause said, I don't know what love is. Then why did you get married? Because it was suitable. Her voice was barely a whisper. You were willing to change for me, support my career, and you wouldn't interfere with my work. So I was just a suitable choice. No, she denied quickly, but then trailed off, unable to explain further. I stood up and walked to the window. Gu Qinghan, if marriage is just about being suitable, then what's the point? She remained silent for a long time before finally just saying, I'm sorry. Neither of us slept that night. The next morning, I got a call from Zhou Wei. Senior brother, I heard all about what happened last night. Her voice was laced with concern. Are you okay? Word travels fast with you. The whole circle is talking about it. She paused. Want to meet up and talk? I thought about it and agreed. In the cafe, Zhou Wei looked worried. Senior brother, that Shun Mo went too far. Humiliating you in public like that. He wasn't entirely wrong, I said with a wry smile. I really have wasted 3 years. That's not your fault, Zhou Wei said, agitated. It's Gu Qinghan who's too selfish. She doesn't love you at all. She just needed an obedient husband. Zhou Wei, I stopped her. She's my wife. But she's not good enough for you. Zhou Wei's eyes reddened. Senior brother, do you know how much my heart has ached for you these past 3 years? Watching you go from a brilliant, spirited, genius doctor to a mediocre man. I finished for her. No, you're never mediocre. She grabbed my hand. Senior brother, leave her. Start over. I stared blankly at the agitated girl before me, a sudden realization dawning on me. Zhou Wei. Her face flushed, and she quickly let go of my hand. I'm sorry, I lost my composure. Zhou Wei, I'm already married. But your marriage is a sham. It's a name only. She looked up, her gaze firm. Senior brother, I've waited 3 years for you. I can keep waiting. So, she felt that way about me. Silly girl, I sighed. It's not worth it. It is worth it, she said, tears welling in her eyes. You don't know how exceptional you are. Back then, in the operating room, you were shining. I fell silent. It was true. Only in the operating room did I truly feel alive. Senior brother, Director Wang said that if you're willing to come back, the position of Deputy Director of Cardiothoracic Surgery is still yours. Really? Of course. Everyone's hoping you'll return, she said excitedly. The province recently acquired a Da Vinci surgical system, and they desperately need an expert like you. The Da Vinci system? My eyes lit up. That was the kind of equipment every cardiothoracic surgeon dreamed of. I'll seriously consider it. Leaving the cafe, I went straight to the provincial hospital. Director Wang was thrilled to see me. Lin Hao, I knew you'd come back. Director Wang, about the deputy director position. It's always been reserved for you. He clapped me on the shoulder. These past 3 years, we've tried a few people, but none of them were as good as you. He showed me the newly acquired equipment and explained the latest technological advancements. Every single thing set my pulse racing. So, tempted? Director Wang asked with a smile. To be honest, very tempted. Then come back. The hospital needs you. The patients need you. Just then, news came from the ER. A child with a complex congenital heart defect needed emergency surgery. Perfect timing. Let me show you our team, Director Wang said. Outside the operating room, I watched the bustling medical staff, and a wave of familiar sensations washed over me. Dr. Lin, a young doctor recognized me. Is it really you? You're back. Soon, more and more people gathered around. Dr. Lin, you're finally back. Yeah, we've all been waiting for you. With you here, we all feel much more confident. In that moment, I rediscovered my worth. Coming home that evening, I found Gu Qinghan unusually busy in the kitchen. You're cooking? I asked, surprised. Just trying something out, she said, a little embarrassed. It might not be very good. A few simple home-cooked dishes were on the table, and they didn't look particularly appetizing. Try some, she said, looking at me expectantly. I picked up a piece of braised pork. The moment it hit my tongue, it was incredibly salty, but seeing the hopeful look in her eyes, I swallowed it anyway. Not bad. Really? Her eyes lit up. Yeah, it has more of a home-cooked feel than takeout. We ate the rest of the meal in silence, but the atmosphere was much more relaxed than usual. I went to the provincial hospital today, I said. Her chopsticks paused. What were the results? Director Wang said the deputy director position is still open for me. Oh, that's great, she replied, her tone unreadable. Qinghan, are you really okay with this? She put down her chopsticks and looked at me seriously. Lin Hao, I thought about it all night. You were right. True love is about supporting someone's happiness, not possession. So, go chase your dream, she said with a smile. I'll support you. This change was so sudden, I could hardly believe it. Why? Because. She paused. I don't want to lose you. In that moment, I saw a vulnerability in her eyes I'd never seen before. Last night, I kept thinking about what would happen if you really left one day. She lowered her head. The answer is, I'd be terrified. Qinghan, I know I haven't been a good wife, she said with a self-deprecating laugh. I can't cook, I don't know how to take care of people, I don't even really understand what love is. But Lin Hao, for these past 3 years, just coming home and seeing you every day, it's made me feel so secure. This was the first time she'd ever expressed her feelings so openly. But you never showed it, because I didn't know how, she said with a wry smile. Growing up, I got used to being independent, to being strong, to not relying on anyone. Including your husband, especially my husband. She looked up at me. I was afraid of depending on someone, afraid of losing myself. So I pushed you away, built up walls with my work. So that was it. I suddenly understood her coldness. But last night, when Sean Mo humiliated you like that, I suddenly realized I was wrong. Her eyes welled up. I always thought keeping my distance would protect me, but in reality, I was pushing away the person who loved me most. How did you know I loved you most? Because only you were willing to give up everything for me. A tear finally slid down her cheek. And I've never done anything for you. I handed her a tissue. It's not too late to realize it now. Wiping her tears, she suddenly asked, Lin Hao, if you could choose all over again, would you still marry me? I thought for a moment. Yes. Why? You clearly could have had better options. Because I don't want anyone but you, I said earnestly. Even though you can be cold, selfish, and clueless about romance, for some reason, I just love you. She laughed through her tears. Is that supposed to be sweet talk? It's the truth. We talked a lot that night about the past, the future, and the problems between us. Just before bed, she asked, Lin Hao, give me a chance for us to start over, okay? Looking at her hopeful eyes, my heart softened. Okay. Monday morning, I officially submitted my resignation to the city hospital. The director was full of regret. Dr. Lin, weren't you happy working here? It's not that. I just want to return to a position that's a better fit for me. Sigh, I knew we couldn't keep you, the director sighed. Talent like yours truly shouldn't be buried here. When my colleagues found out, they all came to say their goodbyes. Dr. Lin, we're really going to miss you. Exactly. What will we do about complex surgeries from now on? It turned out that, without me even realizing it, I'd become their backbone. In the afternoon, I went back to the provincial hospital to handle my onboarding. The HR department had even gone out of their way to organize a small welcome reception for me. Welcome home. My new colleagues applauded enthusiastically. Looking at the familiar faces, my eyes welled up. Yes, I was home. Director Wang announced then and there. Starting tomorrow, Lin Hao will officially serve as Deputy Director of Cardiothoracic Surgery, responsible for the clinical application of the Da Vinci surgical system. Thunderous applause erupted. Zhou Wei was the first to rush over. This is great, Senior. We can work together again. Seeing her so excited made me a little uneasy. I hoped she could manage her feelings appropriately. That evening, I made a point of going home early, wanting to share the good news with Gu Qinghan. Pushing open the door, however, I found we had a guest. Shen Mo. He was sitting on the sofa, a wine glass in hand, looking every bit the master of the house. Ah, Dr. Lin, you're back. He stood up gracefully. Congratulations on your return to the provincial hospital. What are you doing here? Talking business. Gu Qinghan emerged from the study. There's a new M&A deal to discuss. Discussing at home? I frowned. Some urgent matters came up, she explained. Shen Mo smiled. Apologies for the intrusion. We're just about to wrap up. I glanced at my watch. 7 in the evening. This late to be talking business. You two carry on. I'll go make dinner. I turned and headed to the kitchen. From behind me, I could hear their discussion. I didn't understand the technical jargon, but I could sense they were perfectly in sync. Half an hour later, Shen Mo took his leave. Qinghan, see you tomorrow. He gave me a meaningful look, then added, Dr. Lin, I wish you all the best at the provincial hospital. After he left, I asked Gu Qinghan, does this happen often? What? Him coming over to discuss work. She hesitated for a moment. Occasionally, when there's something urgent. Don't have him over to discuss work at home anymore, I said flatly. What? I don't like it. She was silent for a moment before replying, all right. During dinner, I told her about my new job. That's wonderful. She was genuinely happy for me. When do you officially start? Tomorrow. So soon. The hospital is desperate for people. I paused. I might have to work overtime frequently, maybe even night shifts. That's all right. She squeezed my hand. This is your career, and I support you. Seeing her earnest expression, my heart warmed. Qinghan, thank you. What are you thanking me for? She looked down, a little embarrassed. I'm just learning how to be a good wife. In that moment, I believed there was still hope for our marriage. My first week back at the provincial hospital, I practically lived there. New equipment to get used to, a new team to gel with, and a backlog of surgeries to schedule. Director Lin, here's today's surgical schedule. The head nurse handed over a stack of files. Thanks. I flipped through them. 2 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, and I'm on call for emergencies tonight. That's a lot, she said, concerned. You just got back. Don't you need some time to adjust? No need. I can't wait. I really couldn't. 3 years away, I had to make up for lost time with double the effort. The first surgery was a highly difficult one, a child with a complex case of tetralogy of Fallot. Everyone in position. I stood before the operating table, that familiar feeling returning. Let's begin. For hours later, the surgery was a success. Beautiful, Director Wang exclaimed from the observation room. His scalpel work is as precise as ever. The next few surgeries went just as smoothly. In the evening, I was just about to head home when the emergency room called. Director Lin, we have a patient with a ruptured aortic dissection. Critical condition. On my way. With this kind of surgery, time is life. Prep the ER, notify anesthesiology, and assemble a team. I directed as I ran. The patient was a 40-year-old man, and his condition was indeed dire. BP 60/40, heart rate 130, hemorrhagic shock. Start a transfusion immediately. Prepare for cardiopulmonary bypass. The surgery lasted 6 hours. When the final stitch was in place, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. We did it, a young doctor exclaimed excitedly. I smiled, exhausted. This feeling of snatching someone back from the brink, it was truly good. It was 2 in the morning when I finally walked out of the ER. Surprisingly, Gu Qinghan was waiting in the lounge. What are you doing here? I was worried about you. She handed me a thermos. Have some hot soup. Taking the thermos, a warmth spread through my chest. Have you been waiting long? It's fine. I got some work done in the car. Looking at her tired face, I felt a pang of guilt. You don't have to wait for me like this. Go home and rest. I want to wait, she said earnestly. You waited for me countless times before. Now it's my turn. On the way home, she drove while I fell asleep in the passenger seat. In a daze, I heard her whisper, Lin Hao, seeing you at the operating table today, I finally understand why you love this job so much. You were shining. When I woke up the next morning, there was a note on the pillow beside me. Breakfast is on the table. Don't forget to eat. I'll be home late today, so don't wait up. Love, Qinghan. Looking at her elegant handwriting, I smiled. She was trying to change. I could see it. However, just when everything seemed to be looking up, an unexpected incident shattered the calm. That afternoon, I had just finished a surgery when a nurse told me someone was looking for me. Who is it? A lady. She says she's a friend of your wife's. Who could it be? I walked to the reception area and saw an unfamiliar woman. Hello, I'm Lin Hao. The woman sized me up, her expression complex. I'm Xiaoya, Shenmo's ex-girlfriend. Shenmo's ex-girlfriend? What did she want with me? Is there something I can help you with? She took a deep breath. I'm here to warn you. Be careful of Shenmo. You won't let Gu Qinghan go. What do you mean? 5 years ago, when Shenmo and I were together, he could never forget Gu Qinghan. She gave a bitter smile. In his heart, Gu Qinghan was always his true love. I frowned. So what? Qinghan is my wife. You don't know Shenmo. She shook her head. He's extremely arrogant. He'll stop at nothing to get what he can't have. What are you trying to say? Watch out for your marriage. She stood up. Shenmo is already making his move. With that, she gave me a meaningful look and turned to leave. I stood rooted to the spot, a bad feeling welling up inside me. Xiaoya's warning had left me on edge. When I got home that evening, Gu Qinghan wasn't back yet. I called her, but it rang for a long time before she picked up. Hello. Her voice was almost drowned out by a noisy background. Where are you? I'm out with an important client, she said, her voice tinged with exhaustion. I might be home late. Okay, just be careful. After hanging up, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. 11 o'clock rolled around, and Gu Qinghan still wasn't home. I tried calling her again, but this time her phone was off. Uneasy, I called her assistant. Where was Ms. Gu's client dinner tonight? At the Hilton, the assistant replied. But but it should have ended a while ago. I drove to the Hilton immediately. When I got there, the front desk confirmed the dinner event was over. As I was looking around, I spotted Shinmo's car. He was helping a very drunk Gu Qinghan into it. Stop right there. I rushed over. Shinmo turned, a flicker of panic in his eyes. Dr. Lin, where do you think you're taking her? Qinghan's drunk. I'm taking her home. That won't be necessary. I'm here to pick her up. I moved to support Gu Qinghan. She leaned against Shinmo, mumbling, Shinmo, don't go. My heart sank. See? She needs me, Shinmo said, a smug look on his face. She's my wife. I pulled Gu Qinghan firmly towards me. Lin how? She opened her hazy eyes. What are you doing here? I'm taking you home. I don't want to go back. She pushed me away. I need to talk to Shinmo about the project. Qinghan, you're drunk. I'm not drunk, she swayed. Shinmo, let's keep talking. Watching her like this, a mix of emotions churned inside me. Dr. Lin, Shinmo leaned in, lowering his voice. It seems Qinghan needs me more. My fists clenched as I fought back my anger. Shinmo, don't push it. Push it. He sneered. You're just overconfident. Do you really think Qinghan loves you? Shut up. She needs a business partner, not just a surgeon who only knows how to operate. I was about to lose it when Gu Qinghan suddenly threw up. Forgetting the argument, I quickly supported her. All right, I'll take you both home, Shinmo said, feigning concern. No need. I swept Gu Qinghan into my arms. Stay away from my wife. Back home, I settled her into bed. She was still muttering nonsense. Shinmo, the project, can't fail. Hearing those words left a bitter taste in my mouth. Even drunk, all she could think about was work and Shinmo. I wiped her face and changed her clothes, then sat by the bed, lost in thought. Jai was right. Shinmo wouldn't give up easily. And Qinghan, what exactly were her feelings for Shinmo? Gu Qinghan woke up in the early hours of the morning. My head is killing me, she groaned, pressing her forehead. I handed her a hangover remedy and some water. Take this. It'll help. Thanks. She took them. Last night. Did I drink too much? Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm rarely like that, she said apologetically. That client last night was incredibly difficult, kept pushing drinks on me. Was Shinmo there too? She faltered. He arrived later. Oh. Sensing my mood, she tried to explain, Lin how, Shinmo, and I are strictly professional. Are you? I looked at her. But you were calling his name all night while you were drunk. The color drained from her face. What did I say? You said you needed to discuss the project with him, that you didn't want him to leave. That was just work. Her voice trailed off. I stood up. Qinghan, I'm tired. Lin how? I'm sleeping in the study. I didn't sleep a wink that night. I believe Gu Qinghan has feelings for me, but Shinmo's place in her heart. I doubt even she truly knows. For the next few days, Gu Qinghan and I gave each other the silent treatment. She tried to explain several times, but I avoided her. It wasn't out of spite. I just needed time to think. At the hospital, I threw myself into my work. Director Lin, here's the list of new equipment requests. My secretary handed me the file. All right, let me see. As I was reviewing it, my phone rang. An unknown number. Dr. Lin? It's Xiaoya. Her again. What is it? Can we meet? It's about Shinmo. After a moment's hesitation, I agreed. At the cafe, Xiaoya got straight to the point. Shinmo is in the process of acquiring a medical group. What does that have to do with me? That group is planning to partner with the provincial hospital, and one of Shinmo's conditions is to replace the director of cardiovascular surgery. I was stunned. What did you say? He plans to use his capital to push you out of the provincial hospital. She gave a cold smirk. That's just Shinmo's way. Why would he do that? For Gu Qinghan. She looked at me. If your career takes a hit, he sees his chance. I fell silent. Shinmo was more cunning than I had ever imagined. Thank you for telling me this. Don't mention it. A bitter smile touched her lips. I just don't want to see another woman ruined by him. Back at the hospital, I found Director Wong. Director, I heard the hospital is planning to partner with Runhua Medical Group. Director Wong looked surprised. You've got good sources. We are indeed in talks, but nothing's finalized. Can you tell me more? Runhua was recently acquired. The new owner has deep pockets and wants to make a big splash in the healthcare sector, Director Wong said. The terms they're offering are very attractive, and the hospital leadership is quite tempted. Including personnel changes? Director Wong frowned. What have you heard? I told him what Xiaoya had said. Outrageous. Director Wong slammed his hand on the table. Capital trying to meddle in hospital management? Not a chance. But the higher-ups? Don't worry, I'll handle it, Director Wong said firmly, This hospital is a place for healing and saving lives, not a bargaining chip in some capitalist game. That evening, I came home to an unexpected sight. Gu Qinghan was in the kitchen, cooking. "You're back." She turned to look at me. "I made your favorite sweet and sour pork ribs." Seeing her fumbling awkwardly, my heart softened. "Need any help?" "Yes, please," she said, visibly relieved. We stood side by side in the kitchen, cooking like any ordinary couple. "Lin Hao," she said suddenly, "I'm sorry. What are you apologizing for?" "For what happened that night." She put down the spatula. "I know what's been bothering you." "Qinghan." "Let me finish," she interrupted. "Shinamo did pursue me, ever since college. But I only ever saw him as a friend, a classmate." "Then why didn't you turn him down clearly?" She gave a wry smile. "Because of work. He's an important business partner, and I couldn't afford to sour the relationship." "So you chose to lead him on?" "It wasn't leading him on, it was keeping my distance," she explained anxiously. "Lin Hao, in my heart, you're the most important person to me." Looking into her sincere eyes, I believed her. "Qinghan, Shinamo is coming after me." "What?" She was shocked. I told her about the situation at the hospital. Her face paled. "How could he do such a thing? So stay away from him." "I will." She took my hand. "Lin Hao, let's face this together, okay?" Seeing the determination in her eyes, I nodded. "Okay." That dinner, the sweet and sour pork ribs were a little burnt, but we both ate happily. After the meal, she snuggled into my arms. "Lin Hao, I love you." It was the first time she had said those 3 words unprompted. "I love you too," I replied, kissing her forehead. Outside, the night was deep, but our hearts had never felt closer. The very next morning, news arrived from the hospital. Negotiation for the Runhua Group acquisition had been suspended. Heard there was a disagreement within the board. My colleagues buzzed. I knew this was Director Wang pulling strings behind the scenes. "Director Lin," the secretary rushed over. "The dean wants to see you in his office." In the dean's office, besides the dean himself, Director Wang was also present. "Lin Hao, have a seat," the dean said kindly. "You probably heard about the Runhua Group matter." "Yes, sir. Someone reported to me that there's something fishy about this acquisition." The dean looked at me meaningfully. "Rumor has it, it's related to a personal grudge of yours." I told him the truth. After listening, the dean mulled it over for a moment. "The hospital will absolutely not become a battleground for personal vendettas. I will investigate this thoroughly." "Thank you, Dean." However, the dean's tone shifted. "Lin Hao, you need to be careful too. Business is a battlefield, and they won't give up easily." He was right. Someone like Shun Mo, if one plan failed, would undoubtedly have another up his sleeve. In the afternoon, as I was preparing for surgery, Zhou Wei rushed in. "Senior brother, something bad has happened." "What's wrong?" "Some negative news about you suddenly appeared online." I took her phone and saw several articles. Provincial hospital deputy director's surgical skills questioned, a 3-year hiatus. Is he still competent? Patient's family complains, botched surgery led to death. The content was all baseless speculation, but presented as if it were fact. "This is slander. Senior brother, everyone knows how skilled you are." I calmly handed her phone back. "Don't pay any attention to it." "But the innocent have nothing to fear." I smiled. "Let's prepare for surgery." But events unfolded beyond my expectations. Just as the afternoon surgery ended, reporters swarmed me. "Dr. Lin, what's your take on the online accusations? A patient's family claims you lack skill. How do you respond? We heard you haven't performed surgery in 3 years. Have your skills deteriorated?" Security guards arrived promptly and dispersed the reporters. But I knew this was just the beginning. When I got home that evening, Gu Qinghan already knew about it. "It was Shinamo," she said definitively. "How do you know?" "He came to see me this afternoon." She gritted her teeth. He implied that if I agreed to collaborate with him on a new project, all this negative press would disappear. "What did you say?" I told him to get lost. Seeing her so furious, I actually smiled. "Well done." "You can still smile," she said, worried. "This fake news will damage your reputation." "Don't worry. The hospital will handle it." "No, we need to take the offensive." She stood up. "I'm calling the legal team right now. We'll sue them for defamation." "Qinghan." I stopped her. "There's no need to go to such lengths." "Why not? They're trying to ruin your career." Seeing her so anxious, a warmth spread through me. "With you by my side, I'm not afraid of anything." She paused for a moment, then threw herself into my arms. "Lin Hao, I won't let anyone hurt you." "I know." That night, we held each other as we slept. A storm was brewing outside, but as long as she was with me, I had the courage to face anything. The next day, the hospital issued an official statement, strongly endorsing my medical skills and ethics. At the same time, The legal department began gathering evidence to sue the slanderers. As for me, I carried on with work as usual. In the operating room, I was still the same highly skilled surgeon. Director Lin, that last surgery was brilliant, a young doctor said admiringly. Yeah, all that negative news is just nonsense. Seeing my colleague's support, I was deeply moved. Just then, the head nurse rushed in. Director Lin, there's a special patient who specifically requested you as their surgeon. What kind of patient? The chairman of the Renhua group. I froze. The Renhua group? The one Shinamo was trying to acquire? What's his condition? Acute myocardial infarction. He needs an emergency bypass, the head nurse said in a hushed voice. I heard the other doctors don't dare to take the case. Understood. This was a setup. If I refused, they'd accuse me of callously watching someone die. If I took the surgery and something went wrong, the blame would fall squarely on me. Director Lin, what do you think? I took a deep breath. Prep for surgery. But a doctor's duty is to heal. It doesn't matter who he is. If he needs saving, I can't refuse. A flash of admiration crossed the head nurse's eyes. Yes, sir. Outside the operating room, I saw Shinamo. Dr. Lin, he said with a sneer. The chairman's life is in your hands. I gave him a cold glance and turned into the operating room. This battle wasn't just about a life. It was about my entire career. The shadowless lamp in the operating room flickered on. I took a deep breath, steeling myself. The patient was a man in his 60s, his EKG showing a severe myocardial infarction. The patient's critical, the anesthesiologist reported. Unstable blood pressure, arrhythmia. Begin the surgery, I said calmly. The scalpel in my hand seemed to have a life of its own, every movement precise and flawless. Beautiful, my assistant couldn't help but exclaim. 3 hours later, the bypass was complete. We've got a heartbeat, a nurse exclaimed excitedly. BP's rising, rhythms normalizing. The surgery was a success. Stepping out of the OR, I found Shinamo, his face a grim mask. The chairman's surgery was a success, I stated calmly. Another 48 hours of observation, and he should be out of danger. He gritted his teeth, speechless. In the hospital, colleagues flocked to congratulate me. Director Lin, you're incredible. That'll shut up the rumor mongers. That evening, Gu Qinghan had prepared a special feast. To celebrate your victory today, she said, raising her glass. I was just doing my duty as a doctor. No, you're much more than that. Her eyes shone with pride. Faced with a trap, you chose medical ethics. That's what makes a true healer. Just as she spoke, my phone rang. Dr. Lin? This is the lawyer from Renhua Group, a strange voice said. The chairman would like to see you. The next day, I went to his room as requested. The chairman was awake and seemed in good spirits. Dr. Lin, thank you for saving my life. It was my duty. He looked at me intently. I know about the bad blood between you and Shinamo. I said nothing. To be honest, I don't approve of his methods, the old man sighed. A hospital shouldn't be a playground for power games. You mean, Renhua Group will retract all actions against you, he stated decisively. And I'll be reconsidering my partnership with Shinamo. This turn of events was unexpected. Why? The old man smiled. Because you showed me what true healer's benevolence means. A doctor like you deserves respect, not to be trampled by capital. Leaving the ward, my emotions were a tangled mess. I never imagined that my medical skill itself would be what defused the crisis. That evening, Shinamo came to my door. You won, he said, his face dark. This isn't about winning or losing. Don't get cocky too soon, he snarled. Gu Qinghan will be mine, sooner or later. Shinamo, I said sternly. Qinghan is a person, not an object. She doesn't belong to anyone. She has the right to choose her own life. And she chose a good-for-nothing like you? At least I don't resort to despicable tactics. He stormed off in a rage. Gu Qinghan emerged from the room. You heard all that? She came to my side. Thank you for what you said. What part? That I'm not an object? She smiled. Many people take it for granted, but few actually say it out loud. I pulled her into an embrace. Because in my heart, you're the one and only Gu Qinghan, not an accessory to anyone. Her eyes glistened. Lin Hao, meeting you is the greatest fortune of my life. Late that night, we were cuddling on the sofa. Qinghan, I've been thinking about something. What is it? Should we have a child? Her body tensed for a moment, then slowly relaxed. Okay. Really? I looked at her, overjoyed. Really? She shyly lowered her head. I want to have a child like you. In that moment, I felt like I had the whole world. Life was gradually getting back on track. At the hospital, my reputation hadn't suffered. In fact, it had soared to new heights thanks to that surgery. Director Lin, here are the invitations for next month's academic conferences. My secretary handed me a stack of invitations. I flipped through them. They were all for top-tier domestic medical conferences. Oh, by the way, my secretary added, the dean said he's planning to recommend you for this year's National Science and Technology Progress Award. Really? Absolutely. Your innovations with the Da Vinci surgical robot more than qualify you. This was the highest form of recognition a doctor could receive. That evening, back home, I couldn't wait to tell Gu Qinghan the good news. That's fantastic. She was even more excited than I was. I knew you were the best. It's not set in stone yet. You'll definitely win. She was full of confidence. My husband is a genius doctor, after all. Seeing her so proud, a warmth spread through my heart. Oh, right. I remembered something. There's a medical conference next week in Sanya. Want to come along? For a vacation? Her eyes lit up. And a vacation, too, I smiled. We've been married for so long, but we've never traveled together. Yes, of course I'll go, she exclaimed, hugging me. Seeing her so happy, I realized just how much we had missed out on these past 3 years. A week later, Sanya. The conference was held at a beachside resort hotel. During the day, I attended the conference, and in the evenings, I'd walk with her along the beach. It's so beautiful, she said, walking barefoot on the sand, the sea breeze tousling her long hair. It is, I agreed, holding her hand. How'd I never notice before how beautiful you are? She blushed. You silver-tongued devil. I'm serious. I looked at her earnestly. Qinghan, these past few days I've been thinking. If I hadn't lost my memory back then, would we have missed our chance with each other? She was silent for a moment. Maybe. Why? Because back then, we were both too absorbed in our own worlds, she sighed. You were insistent on me quitting my job, and I was insistent on maintaining my independence. And now, she looked up at me. Now I understand. Love isn't about possession, nor is it about distance. It's about mutual fulfillment. Moonlight shimmered on the sea, and her eyes shone brighter than stars. Lin Hao, let's start over. Okay. I kissed her. It was a long, lingering kiss, as if to make up for all the regrets of the past. Back at the hotel, she shyly pulled me into the room. That night, we truly became husband and wife. Waking up in the morning, looking at her in my arms, I felt like my life was complete. You're awake? She opened her sleepy eyes. I kissed her forehead. Hungry? A little. Wait here, I'll go get breakfast. In the hotel's buffet restaurant, as I was picking out her favorite foods, I suddenly heard a familiar voice. Shin-mo, what are you doing here? I turned around, and sure enough, it was him. Here on business, he said coldly. And you, attending an academic conference. Oh, he gave a knowing smile. Qinghan came too, I presume. I grew wary. What's it to you? Nothing, just a reminder. He leaned in closer. Be careful. After all, accidents can happen anytime. With that, he turned and left. My heart sank. I hurried back to the room. Qinghan. The sound of water came from the bathroom. I'm in the shower. I breathed a sigh of relief, but Shin-mo's words left me uneasy. What's wrong? She came out wrapped in a towel. You look pale. It's nothing. I didn't want to worry her. Maybe I'm just tired from last night. She blushed and playfully punched my arm. Throughout the rest of the conference, I was constantly distracted, until I received an anonymous text message. Want to know your wife's secret? Beach, 8 p.m. tonight. I stared at the message, lost in thought. At 8 in the evening, I arrived at the beach as planned. The moonlight was hazy, and a figure stood under a coconut tree. Who are you? I asked. The person turned. It was Xiaoya. Sorry for asking you to meet like this, she said apologetically, but there's something I have to tell you. What is it? It's about what happened 5 years ago. 5 years ago. Yes. Gu Qinghan and Shun-mo. She trailed off. What about them? They were engaged. The news hit me like a bolt from the blue. What did you say? 5 years ago, Gu Qinghan and Shun-mo were engaged to be married, Xiaoya said, looking straight at me. But then, for some reason, Gu Qinghan suddenly broke it off and married you instead. My mind was a total mess. That's impossible. I have proof. She pulled out her phone, displaying old news screenshots. The headline was stark. Legal prodigy engaged to business scion in powerhouse union. In the photo, a younger Gu Qinghan and Shun-mo stood together, an engagement ring on her finger. I was speechless. Shun-mo never gave up, Xiaoya continued. He believes Gu Qinghan was forced by her family to marry you. Why are you telling me this now? Because Shun-mo is planning something. Her expression turned grave. He wants to stage an accident, to make you disappear. What? I was stunned. I don't know the details, but you need to be careful. With that, she hurried away. I stood alone on the beach, the wind howling, my thoughts in turmoil. Qinghan was engaged to Shinemo? Why hadn't she told me? Back at the hotel, Gu Qinghan was already asleep. Looking at her peaceful face, a bitter mix of emotions welled up inside me. The next day, after the conference ended, I booked an earlier flight home. Leaving so soon? Gu Qinghan sounded disappointed. Didn't you say we'd stay a couple more days? There's an emergency at the hospital. I lied. On the plane, she slept soundly, her head on my shoulder. I stared out at the sea of clouds, that one question echoing in my mind. Why did she hide it from me? Once home, I started to secretly investigate the events of 5 years ago. Sure enough, traces of it still existed online. Back then, Gu Qinghan had just graduated from law school, hailed as its most promising new talent. Shinemo was already a rising star in the business world. Their engagement had been major news, the media dubbing them the golden couple. But strangely, 3 months after the engagement, all related news vanished. The more I uncovered, the colder I felt. What are you looking up? Gu Qinghan was suddenly standing behind me. I hastily closed the browser window. Nothing, just work stuff. She gave me a suspicious look, but said nothing. At dinner, I couldn't hold back any longer. Qinghan, you and Shinemo, were you close back then? Her chopsticks paused midair. We were. All right, university classmates. Just classmates. She looked up at me. Why the sudden question? Just wondering. She put down her chopsticks. Lin Hao, if you want to ask something, just say it. I took a deep breath. You and Shinemo were engaged, weren't you? The air went still. Her face instantly paled. You? How did you know? So it's true. A bitter laugh escaped me. Why didn't you tell me? She bit her lip. I didn't mean to hide it. Then why? Because that past doesn't matter, she said, her voice urgent. What matters is now. Us. Doesn't matter? I shot to my feet. You were going to marry him, and you say it doesn't matter? Lin Hao, let me explain. I'm heading to the hospital for my shift. I grabbed my coat and walked out. Her voice followed me. Lin Hao, I didn't look back. Right then, I needed to cool down. In the hospital's on-call room, I didn't sleep a wink. Early the next morning, my phone rang. An unknown number. Dr. Lin, it's Shinemo. What is it? Let's meet at noon. There are some things that need to be said. After a moment's thought, I agreed. In the restaurant, Shinemo was already waiting. You know, he asked, getting straight to the point. No, what? About my past with Qinghan. He smirked. The truth is, she never loved you. What do you mean? 5 years ago, we were about to be married. A flicker of hatred crossed his eyes. But her family ran into trouble. Their company's cash flow dried up, and they needed a strategic marriage to survive. So, she chose you. He sneered. Your Qin family might not have the Shun family's prestige, but you had ready cash. I clenched my fists. You're lying. Am I? He produced a document. This is their financial report from that year. See for yourself. The document showed that, 5 years ago, the Gu family had indeed faced a severe financial crisis, and the capital injection that saved them had come from the Chun family. The timing was perfect, just 1 month after Gu Qinghan broke off her engagement to him. My head swam. So that was it. I was just a bargaining chip in their game. Leaving the restaurant, I wandered aimlessly down the street. 5 years of marriage, built on lies? My phone buzzed incessantly. It was Gu Qinghan. I didn't answer. Not until Zhou Wei called. Senior brother, where are you? There's an emergency at the hospital. What's wrong? A special patient came into the ER, specifically requesting you for surgery. I rushed to the hospital, only to find out the patient was Gu Qinghan's father. Dad had a sudden heart attack. Gu Qinghan was in tears. Lin Hao, please save him. Looking at her tear-streaked face, my heart was a maelstrom of emotions. But a doctor's instinct took over. Prep for surgery. In the operating room, I was completely focused. No matter the turmoil in my heart, the scalpel in my hand remained steady. For hours later, the surgery was a success. How's Dad? Gu Qinghan rushed forward, asking. The surgery was successful, but he needs to be observed for the next 48 hours. Thank you. Thank you. She was choked with sobs. Seeing her like that, my heart softened. Go get some rest first. She shook her head. I want to stay with Dad. For the next 2 days, she didn't leave his side, waiting outside the ICU. I brought her meals, but she only ate a few bites hastily. He'll be all right. I comforted her. She looked up at me, her eyes filled with exhaustion. Lin Hao, I'm sorry. What for? About Shun Mo. She bit her lip. I should have told you sooner. There's no point talking about this now. No, I have to make things clear. She stood up. 5 years ago, I was indeed engaged to Shun Mo. I listened in silence. But it wasn't for love, she said with a bitter smile. It was a family alliance, an arranged marriage. And then I met you. A light shone in her eyes. At that medical malpractice case, you testified as an expert witness. I remembered the case, but not the details. Your performance in court left a deep impression on me, she recalled. Professional, upright, and with a strong sense of responsibility. So my heart was moved. She lowered her head. It was the first time I'd met someone who made my heart flutter. But you were already engaged. Yes. She nodded. So I was in agony. But in the end, I chose to follow my heart. You mean, you broke off your engagement? For me? Yes. She looked directly into my eyes. That decision shattered the relationship between our two families, and our family business suffered as well. I remembered the financial statements Shun Mo had shown me. Later, your family's company ran into financial problems. That was an accident, she interrupted me. It wasn't directly related to breaking the engagement. Our competitors took advantage of a vulnerability. But the Chun family's investment, that was a business partnership, she explained. Your father is very shrewd. He saw a good investment opportunity. Are you sure it wasn't a condition for marriage? She paused for a moment, then understood. Shun Mo told you that. I nodded. She sneered. He's still as despicable as ever. What do you mean? Lin Hao, your father did indeed suggest a marriage alliance, she said frankly. But I refused. Then why did you still marry me? Because you were the one who pursued me, she said, a mix of exasperation and amusement on her face. Have you forgotten? I tried hard to remember, and fragments of memory surfaced. Yes, it seemed I really was the one who pursued her first. You had just returned from the United States back then, she reminded me. At a cocktail party, it was love at first sight for you. The memories gradually became clearer. That's right, I had taken the initiative. I was captivated by her beauty and aura, and I pursued her ardently. So, it wasn't an arranged marriage? Of course not, she said earnestly. Lin Hao, I married you only because I love you. Looking into her sincere eyes, I chose to believe her. I'm sorry. I took her hand. I misunderstood you. It's my fault. She leaned into my embrace. I should have told you all this sooner. Then why does Shun Mo keep pestering you? He can't accept failure, she sighed. In his eyes, I'm his possession. How could I marry someone else? So that's how it was. Just as they were talking, a nurse hurried over. Attorney Gu, your father is awake. We quickly rushed over. The old man was weak but conscious. Dad, Gu Qinghan cried tears of joy. The old man looked at her, then at me, and said weakly, Lin Hao, thank you. It's what I should do. Qinghan. The old man took his daughter's hand. Be good. To Lin Hao. I will, Dad. Watching this scene, a warmth spread through my heart. Whatever happened in the past, what matters is the present and the future. Father Gu recovered quickly, and within a week, he was able to get out of bed and walk around. Lin Hao, I owe you my thanks, he said formally. Dad, please don't say that. No, I must, the old man said, his expression serious. Not only for saving my life, but also for your tolerance of Qinghan all these years. I was a little surprised. You knew. I know Qinghan's personality, he sighed. She's too strong-willed, always pushing people away. She's changed a lot. Yes, and that's all thanks to you, the old man said gratified. You're a good kid. Just then, Gu Qinghan came in carrying a bowl of soup. Dad, it's time for your medicine. Watching her carefully take care of her father warmed my heart. Just then my phone rang. It was Director Wang. Lin Hao, great news. You've passed the preliminary review for the National Science and Technology Progress Award. Really? Absolutely. The review committee spoke very highly of your innovations in robotic surgery. After I hung up, Gu Qinghan asked curiously, what's the good news? I told them about the award. That's fantastic, she exclaimed, hugging me excitedly. Now, that's a true honor, Father Gu said approvingly. Lin Hao, you've brought glory to the medical field. That evening, when we got home, Gu Qinghan had specially prepared a table full of delicious dishes to celebrate your award. I haven't officially won it yet. You definitely will, she said, full of confidence. After dinner, we snuggled on the sofa watching TV. Lin Hao, there's something I want to discuss with you. What is it? I'm thinking of resigning. I looked at her, astonished. Why? I want to spend more time with you, she said seriously. I've been thinking it over lately. Career is important, but family is more important. Qinghan, you don't have to sacrifice your career for me. It's not a sacrifice, she shook her head. It's a choice. I can work as an independent lawyer, have more flexible hours. Are you sure? Positive, she said with a smile. Besides, aren't we planning to have children? At the mention of children, my heart softened. All right then, we'll do as you say. She gave me a happy kiss. Oh, right. She suddenly remembered something. Shinamo hasn't been bothering you lately, has he? No, I said. Maybe he's given up. But it turned out I was too optimistic. The next day, a group of people suddenly showed up at the hospital claiming to be a medical malpractice investigation team. We've received a report alleging that Dr. Lin made an error during a surgery, the leader said. Which surgery? I asked. A heart bypass surgery from last month. I thought for a moment. It was a routine surgery, very successful, and the patient had recovered well. The patient is perfectly healthy now. How could there be a problem? We need to investigate, the other party said formally. Director Wang rushed over when he heard the news. What's going on here? The investigation team produced a document. This is the complaint, alleging that Dr. Lin violated regulations. Director Wang looked at it, and his face changed. This is a false accusation. The surgical records are perfectly clear. We will verify it. The investigation lasted all day, and of course, they found no evidence. But the incident still caused a stir in the hospital. It must be that Shinamo causing trouble again, Zhou Wei said angrily. I didn't say anything, but I knew in my heart that Shinamo hadn't given up. Sure enough, in the days that followed, all sorts of troubles came one after another. One moment, it was the health bureau coming for an inspection. The next, it was a patient complaint. Although they were all baseless, they were still exhausting to deal with. This can't go on, Gu Qinghan fumed. I'm going to sue him for harassment. It's no use, I said. He always uses other people. There's no direct evidence. Then what do we do? I thought for a moment. Maybe it's time to take the offensive. I hired a private investigator and started looking into Shinamo. Focus on his business dealings, I said. A guy like him can't be clean. The detective was professional. A week later, he had results. Mr. Lin, I found something, he said, handing me a stack of documents. Shinmo's company is involved in tax evasion and commercial bribery. I leafed through the evidence. It was all solid. This is enough to make him sweat, I remarked. There's more, the detective said mysteriously. He's planning something big. What is it? He wants to short the Gu family's company. My heart skipped a beat. Shorting their stock? He was trying to destroy the Gu family. Are you sure? Positive. He's already partnered with several investment firms. I immediately told Gu Qinghan. Her face paled. That bastard. We have to strike first, I said. Ow! I made a call. Hello. Is this the Securities and Exchange Commission? I want to report. 3 days later, Shinmo's company was under investigation. Tax evasion, commercial bribery, stock market manipulation. The list of charges was enough to overwhelm him. I didn't expect you to fight back, Shinmo said when he called, his voice grim. You started it. I'll remember this, he seethed. We're not done. Anytime. After hanging up, I knew this wasn't over. Sure enough, that night, I was attacked in the parking lot. 3 masked men rushed out from the darkness. Watch out! Gu Qinghan's voice came from behind me. It turned out she'd been worried and had secretly followed me. In the chaos, I shielded her but took a few punches myself. Call the police, I yelled. Sirens wailed, and the attackers fled in panic. The police arrived, and we filed a report. Any suspects? The officer asked. Shinamo, I said without hesitation, but with no direct evidence. The police were in a difficult position. On the way home, Gu Qinghan was still trembling. It's okay now. I comforted her. This is all my fault, she said, blaming herself. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't be mixed up in all this. Don't say that, I said, taking her hand. Protecting you is my responsibility. Her eyes reddened. Lin Hao, let's leave this place. Li, yes, go somewhere Shinamo can't find us. I shook my head. Running away won't solve anything. But, trust me, I said firmly, I'll protect you. The next day, an unexpected visitor arrived. Dr. Lin, I'm the old master of the Shun family. Shinmo's grandfather? What was he doing here? Sir, I've come to apologize, the old man sighed. My unworthy grandson has done many foolish things. So, old master Shin knew everything. Such a disgrace to the family, he said, deeply pained. I've already sent him abroad. Abroad? Yes, to our European branch. The old man assured. He won't be back for at least 5 years. Gu Qinghan and I exchanged a look. This is a token of our family's apology, the old man said, pushing an envelope towards me. I didn't take it. There's no need. Please, take it, the old man insisted. Consider it compensation for your distress. Finally, at his insistence, we accepted it. Inside was a check for a considerable sum. Let this matter be concluded, the old man said. Shinamo will not bother you again. After seeing the old man off, Gu Qinghan and I both breathed a sigh of relief. It's finally over, she said, leaning into my embrace. Yes, it's over. But I knew the real end would only come when Shun Mo himself let go of his obsession. I hoped this lesson would make him see sense. 1 year later. Dr. Lin, congratulations. I stood on the podium, accepting the certificate for the National Science and Technology Progress Award. In the audience, Gu Qinghan held our 6-month-old son, her face beaming with pride. A lot had happened this past year. After Shun Mo left for Europe, we heard nothing more from him. Gu Qinghan, as she had always wished, resigned and opened her own law firm. Meanwhile, I continued to advance in my medical career, my skills with Da Vinci robotic surgery becoming increasingly refined. Most importantly, we had welcomed our child, the beautiful fruit of our love. Daddy's amazing, Gu Qinghan said, walking over with our son. The little one was babbling, just started to form words, and waving his tiny hands. Here, let Daddy hold you. I took our son. Looking at his smiling face, my heart swelled with happiness. Oh, by the way, Gu Qinghan said, Mom and Dad are coming for dinner tonight. Okay, I'll go get groceries. No need. I've already got everything, she said with a smile. You're the man of the hour today, so just relax. That evening, both our families gathered. Come, a toast to Lin Hao. Gu Qinghan's father raised his glass. To our award winner, my father chimed in. Amidst the clinking glasses and joyful toasts, the room was filled with warmth and laughter. Lin Hao, Qinghan, Gu Qinghan's mother said with emotion, seeing you two so happy now, we can finally rest easy. Indeed, my mother added, we used to worry your personalities wouldn't mesh well. Gu Qinghan and I looked at each other and smiled. We had been through so much, and we had both grown. She was no longer the icy, formidable career woman she once was. And I was no longer the husband plagued by insecurity. Mom, have some more soup, Gu Qinghan said, attentively ladling soup for my mother. That's plenty, dear. Thank you, my mother replied, beaming. Watching this heartwarming scene, a warmth spread through my heart. After dinner, we chatted in the living room. By the way, Gu Qinghan's father said, I heard the hospital is planning to send you to the United States for an exchange. Yes, Johns Hopkins has invited me to be a visiting scholar. That's wonderful, he said approvingly. That was your dream back then, wasn't it? I nodded. Yes, it was. How long will you be gone this time? My mother asked with concern. 3 months. I looked at Gu Qinghan. We'll all go together. With a baby, she hesitated. Of course. I squeezed her hand. A family should always be together. A flicker of deep emotion crossed her eyes. Okay, that's lovely, Gu Qinghan's mother said, gratified. Qinghan has finally learned it's okay to lean on others. Everyone laughed. The night grew late, and the guests departed. We lay in bed, our son sleeping soundly in his crib. Lin Hao, she whispered in the darkness. Thank you. For what? Thank you for not giving up on us. I pulled her into my arms. Silly, I'm the one who should be thanking you. What? Thank you for making me a better man. She smiled and snuggled comfortably in my embrace. Lin Hao, I love you. I love you too. Outside, the moonlight flowed like water. Inside, the warmth was like spring. Our story was still unfolding. But this time, I believed it would have a truly happy ending. Because we had finally learned how to love. Love isn't about possession, nor is it about forcing change. It's about understanding, about supporting each other, and about walking forward hand in hand. Just like this, simple, ordinary, yet filled with happiness. This, truly, is love in its most beautiful form.